Today we're going through every single spring training non-roster invite and telling you who our favorite is from every team in Major League Baseball. This is a demon baseball video. This is chaos. This is essentially nonsense, but this is why you're subscribed to The Windup. And if you're not already, you should be subscribed, because who on the planet is going to tell you their favorite non-roster invite from every team in the league besides the boys over here, me and James? So let's get going into it, James. We're starting off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I'll get this one started because this is a guy who's close to my heart. I bought a lot of his cards back in the day. He went through some ups and downs, mental health journey as well off the field. Got to talk about Christian Robinson. Christian Robinson is on here, and we know that the Diamondbacks outfield this year could get a little complicated. There's a world where Corbin Carroll could miss a little bit of time because of the injuries that he's had. There's a world where Jordan Lawler's just not good in the outfield. Alec Thomas stinks. Like, they have legitimately two open spots right now, I think, in the outfield. And Christian Robinson, who hasn't been basically any good since he flew up the prospect lists, the fact that he's on here means they're giving him one more shot, and I can't wait to see.
And Christian Robinson, you still have sensational physical tools. You still have a guy who, I mean, it's been a long, winding road. It's amazing he's actually back in the Diamondbacks organization. Happy for him. He's able to play professional baseball again. I have a funny one, too. It's another position player. The Diamondbacks are kind of weak at first base. I know Carlos Santana's there, but still, you know, Carlos Santana any time of the day, year, month, it could just stop working. Luken Baker, who they pulled from, I believe, the Cardinals organization, has very fun batted ball data. He lifts the ball, he pulls the ball, he hits it hard, and we all know how much the likelihood of a power hitter leaving St. Louis becoming at least a major league regular somewhere else is really it's weirdly more common than it should be. But he's a fun bat that could really mix in for major league plate appearances this season.
Yeah, Luken Baker might hit 190, but when he hits the baseball, it's going to be incredibly hard. Like, the dude's just mashed forever, but weirdly also never has gotten a chance almost ever in his career.
No, also funny how many other NRIs on this team are like mildly interesting. Like Tommy Troy could easily be 10% better than Tim Tawa across the board. Ivan Melendez has good batted ball data.
Hispanic Titanic?
That's the one. Drew Jones, he really can't hit, but man, he's going to play a good center field. Ryan Waldschmidt's a very fun bat-first prospect. Yu-Min Lin, we're going to see him in the World Baseball Classic first. He's kind of an artist in the mound, even though he doesn't throw hard. Bryce Jarvis, Landon Sims, college baseball legends. Like Thomas Hatch. I love going through these names. I can't wait to do this video.
Yeah, there are some teams on here that I like straight up were like, yuck, gross. Like, I can't believe these are your non-roster invites. Let's have some fun. The Diamondbacks, while they might stink, they went out and they're looking at everybody, and I respect that.
Oh, and they're a team that should be. They're kind of like the poor man's Padres, which is saying a lot.
Yes. All right, let's go on to the next team, James. Tell me where we're going.
Let's go to the Athletics. Let's stay alphabetical.
Man, going to really challenge our literacy here. Okay, for this one, I have two picks.
Okay.
My personal one is simply because I actually have a player that I have coached. I coached him for one game, infielder Joshua Kuroda Grauer. He's a Jersey guy, went to Rutgers. He's actually been a pretty good prospect. He hits for high average, puts the ball in play a ton. He's not going to make the major league roster, but he's still a far way away. He's like only 23 years old. But technically, I went up and coached his team for full count baseball for one game when they needed help. So that is my selfish personal pick. True pick, I see Nick Anderson on here. And I know it's a while back, but Nick Anderson at one point was one of the most unhittable relievers in baseball. He had a stretch where he was absolutely disgusting. I don't know how many pitches he's thrown since then. I know he's battled some injuries, but I mean, the A's bullpen's horrible. Give Nick Anderson a shot if he's got anything left.
So a big thing with these NRI invites on certain teams, I think sometimes Mark and I are going to focus on the chaos like we just did for the Diamondbacks and like Mark started doing for the A's. But for a lot of these teams, non-roster invite time is when you can see the top prospects face the big leaguers, like we talked about in the spring training video you guys just watched. And the Athletics have the two best prospects by far in their organization as NRIs. And Leo DeVries, who came over from the Padres in the Mason Miller trade last year, chance to be a standout shortstop, if not a power-hitting third baseman. And Gage Jump, starting pitcher prospect, who last year showed that he has literally some of the best stuff, possibly the best fastball right now in the upper minors. After being drafted in 2023, started playing 2024, started playing pro ball last year, was just too good for high A. He had like a 37, 38, 40% strikeout rate and wasn't walking anybody. Then went to double A, was still nice, not as nice, but it's a fastball that jumps off the page, LOL, and nice. A nice curveball he can use. He's someone that I'm very excited about and that I actually think gets major league innings this year. Plus, Jamie Arnold.
Yep, I was going to throw in Jamie Arnold too. I figured you were going to talk about those guys. That's why I was like, let's go off the beaten path here. But again, the A's, fun, interesting players. Like, this is something that you want to see on NRIs. Every single team in baseball, this is where you should be playing the lottery here. Like, where can we find some craziness that can happen, or give our prospects a shot to prove themselves?
At least give them a shot to prove themselves for a few weeks. Like, I don't
Yes.
think there's any chance DeVries touches the majors this year. That Jump starts the year in the majors. But if Gage Jump can be on the team mid-May, similar to Cade Horton last year with the Cubs, another guy who went through some injury issues. Jump had a Tommy John back in college and then kind of rose through fast. You could change the trajectory of your team if Jump is actually a frontline guy around May or June.
Also, I think there's a weird Cade Marlowe down here.
Yeah.
I believe he is the only former Savannah Banana that has played
Stop.
Major League Baseball. Yeah, I think he technically was on the Savannah Bananas the same time the Yellow Tux guy started owning everything, but he was not a part of the nonsense that was going on.
That's interesting. I mean, he has like decent stats last year as a 27-year-old in AAA
Yeah,
on a quick look, so maybe that's something.
Fun fact. All right, give me the next one alphabetically, James.
It's got to be the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, let's go Braves. Sounds good to me. Atlanta Braves, this one to me, this was a team that, I mean, talk about non-roster invites that I am not particularly interested in at all. They have such boring picks all over the place for a team that has no depth. They said, what if we still have no depth, even with the guys that are supposed to be our depth? Like, we're seeing some just journeymen all over the place, and that's going to happen. The one guy to me that I actually think could make some major league starts this year and maybe even has a chance out of spring training to make the rotation if they're crazy and they see some nuts stuff. It's a high number, but J.R. Ritchie, he got to AAA last year. The stuff looks great. The numbers have been good all throughout the minors. They have so many injuries where I see a world where, again, probably not out of opening day, but maybe June, you could see J.R. Ritchie at the major league level.
I was going to go similar but different. Owen Murphy. Was very excited about Owen Murphy out of the draft. He was the Braves' first-round pick. As a high schooler, he's still just 22 years old, or maybe turning 22. Checking right now. Yeah, he just turned 22 last September. That's not just, but it's gonna be his age 22 season. Last year, he got injured. It was some kind of arm issue. It was an elbow thing, I'm pretty sure. But he's back and he's healthy right now. And again, this Braves team is dying for any kind of starting pitching help. Murphy has a nice fastball, a slider, a really, really, really good curveball. The command's improved a lot as a pro, especially as he went into last season. I think he's a guy who's almost definitely going to get major league starts for the Braves this year, and I think when he does,
How high did he get last year?
Last year he pitched in only high A, but the Braves do not care.
I think they do a little bit.
I don't know. Dude, Schwellenbach went from high A to the majors in like 3 starts.
Fair. Good point.
Like last year, Giancarlo Solara, it was Didier Fuentes, was pitching 19 years old.
Nah, that was a mistake because he was not ready.
Ironically, I think he's still nice too. And then there's other depth guys in this team, like Carlos Carrasco is just keep on chugging, old man.
Javi Guerra.
Eliezer Hernandez has like a really weird cement mixer changeup that kind of works. Sandy Leon is Chadwick Tromp are still hanging out. Like this is a team where you're starting to question the underlying process of the organization.
Yeah. Also, they do have a 19-year-old in spring as well. John. I got to imagine this is John Heel. I can't imagine it's John Gill.
No. Move on next to the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, Orioles. You're really throwing it off. You went team name athletic or alphabetical. Now you just went city.
Well, because the Athletics technically don't have a city on their alphabetization.
Okay, I like it. For the Orioles, my interesting pick. Oh, this is a weird one. This is where, again, having some fun. Orioles bullpen could always use more help. Never can have too many arms. Enoli Paredes.
I knew it.
Enoli Paredes. Enoli Cannoli. This guy with the Astros during like some of their runs was a huge piece. Now, granted, he's 31 years old now, or he's 30, turning 31 this year. And I don't know how much he has left in the tank. There's probably a reason we haven't seen him at the major league level since he left the Astros. But he was electric during those playoff runs. And just see if he can get a little flash in the pan with Enoli Paredes again.
Yeah, why not? I have another one that's interesting. We've talked a little bit on this channel about the fact that the Orioles' upper minors position player depth has just been ravaged by kind of themselves and just like letting these guys not be good. And they're struggling to get infielders right now. And we're getting bad news about Jordan Westbrook seemingly every day.
Yeah.
Aaron Estrada has been kind of like a hipster top 100 prospect recently. It's a very, very good hit tool. It's burgeoning power. It's a guy that can run. I don't know defensively if they really like him at second base. Also kind of a weird like body shape. He's kind of a shorter, like thicker guy, but I think he can definitely hit. This year is probably not going to happen for him at the major league level, but he is an NRI invite, and I think he's a guy that can hit. And if Blaze Alexander winds up failing, or if there's issues with Jackson Holiday returning from the hamate bone injury, they're going to have to get creative with their infield depth. I think Aaron Estrada is a name to watch.
That's literally a name I've never heard, so I'm glad to hear it. Also, just want to throw out Enrique Bradfield Jr., friend of the channel, also going to be an elite center fielder defensively. I'd like to see if he can hit against these guys.
And we got former Mets farmhand Josh Balker, who's out here getting an
Oh,
NRI.
nice.
Also, watch out for Trey Gibson. Trey Gibson's nice.
Yes.
The Orioles have been dying to get a pitching prospect that hits. Gibson's stuff is really good. We'll see what happens if he gets the shot this year, but they're a team that kind of needs some contributions from a few of these guys if they want to have the season they want to have.
No Hans Kraus love, James? I'm shocked.
Dude, back in the day, he was every time he played MLB The Show 20 or 19 or 21, like he just got really good for no reason. No reason whatsoever.
Who's next on our list?
Next on the list, if we're staying alphabetical by city, is it the Boston Red Sox?
All right, let's go Red Sox. Okay, I believe this is one of the first where I was like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
There is legitimately nobody interesting to me for the Major League roster on this team.
Okay, I think there's a few from my first glance. Like Tyrone Guerrero, that's a lanky reliever who could just throw gas if you want him to.
I guess, yeah.
Kyle Keller similarly has like decently fun relief stuff.
He was in Japan, right? Recently, Kyle Keller, I think like the last 3-4 years.
I think so, yeah. So I mean, he had like a moment back. Was it the Phillies organization where the stuff was interesting? But yeah, otherwise, you're really right about this. But they also have so many interesting young players. Like, it's hard to hold this against them.
Yeah, like Jeremy Woo Yelland. I saw how he throws. I don't know how he doesn't just eviscerate his elbow and shoulder every single time. It looks insane. I ended up going with Brendan Rodgers simply for the fact that he's probably going to be on the opening day roster. And he was a former top pick. I guess give him another shot. Why not?
I guess. I mean, also, again, like for them, I guess these guys aren't technically non-roster invites, but just watching Christian Campbell, Peyton Tolley, Connolly Early. I don't know why they're technically not. I guess because they're on the 40-man. Okay, yeah. So those are the guys to watch here more so. The Red Sox just have a much deeper 40-man than other teams because their upper levels of their minors are so good. But also, I don't know, keep an eye on Tyrone Guerrero. A guy that throws 100 with 6.5 feet of extension. Like, that's good enough for me.
Next up, who's after Boston?
Chicago.
The Cubs or White Sox? Cubs, right?
Cubs, yeah. Cubs are staying alphabetical enough.
All right, Chicago Cubs. I went with a weird little pick here. Colin Snyder. He was with the Mariners, I believe, last year or the year before. He throws like almost sidearm, but more three-quarter-ish. He gets a ton of chase, doesn't walk anybody. The production hasn't been good in terms of like the ERA and the counting numbers, but for a guy who gets chase and doesn't walk, I feel like there's got to be a world where he can be a serviceable middle bullpen reliever. My God.
I could definitely see that. Similarly, Corbin Martin has been a name I liked a while back with the Astros, then the Diamondbacks. Again, he's had some arm issues, but it's above average velo. I can kind of see the Cubs being like, you want to try being Brad Keller this year instead of Brad Keller last year. Not a sinker, not the same kind of changeups, a little bit different, but you have multiple breaking balls on Corbin Martin, and maybe they can help him get the changeups who can be a little bit more effective against lefties. It seems like they've been able, again, to do that with guys from this like similar way up arm slot.
Can't believe you didn't pick Jeff Brigham.
I mean, Jeff Brigham, it's something that kind of like sometimes those wounds hurt deep. Also, the Cubs team, very high assortment of non-pitching NRIs. Usually you stuff your NRIs as bullpen depth, but the Cubs have a lot of starting pitchers. Oh, also Jackson Wiggins. Whew.
Yes, that's the most exciting guy, but it's like, again, I'm trying to find, like, for the Cubs, especially because they're going to be very good this year, I'm trying to find a piece that's going to help, like, right now, maybe.
I think Jackson Wiggins gets major league innings. Like,
probably towards the end of the year, though, right?
Maybe middle. I mean, probably just because of how much depth they have in their rotation now. But like, it's a true 70 grade fastball. This is again one of the best fastballs in the minors, and he has a curveball that kind of just drops right off it. It's a very vertical approach. I think he's clearly a top 100. In some lists, I'd probably call him a top 50 prospect if you're really focusing on pitch shapes exclusively. He's completely nasty. It's just whether or not the Cubs need his services this year, and whether or not at AAA if you can keep the walks down.
Yes, which I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, the rest of this roster that they have on here, like, boring. Don't care. Like the Cubs.
I mean, Scott Kingery one time. Christian Betancourt. I mean, you want to get some power.
I
Jefferson
guess.
Rojas. Like, that's Dylan Carlson. Like, it's a Chaz McCormick. There's actually a bunch of guys who have major league experience, plus these minor leaguers that we're excited by.
Let's check out the White Sox now. For the White Sox, I went with, this was a good one. Again, because I'm checking my list. The way we're doing this is a little bit different than normal. I want to shout out all the pitching guys that I think will get to the majors at some point this year. Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, and even Jairo Iriarte. I think those guys could be at the majors at some point.
Did Iriarte get cut and then just brought back in?
I think so. But his stuff was electric. Did it fall off a cliff?
I think it did, but the fastball still can be electric.
Okay, well then I stand by it. But my pick, and always will be, Braden Montgomery. I think Braden Montgomery might be the best outfielder on the White Sox right now. Of all the major league players they have, I think Braden Montgomery is the most talented. I think this guy is going to be a franchise cornerstone.
Wow.
They got him in the Garrett Crochet trade. Everything he does is phenomenal. He even pitched back in college at one point and threw like 95. He's sick. He's one of my favorite prospects. And then shout out Jared Kelenic. You know it's bad when you got to try and make an NRI with the White Sox.
Yeah, right. I want to shout out Tim Elko. He's a thumper. The White Sox oddly now have a lot of depth in the first base DH area, especially after signing Munetaka Murakami. But Elko, he'll be like a 35% strikeout guy, run into a couple fun home runs. Your boy Drew Romo, of course, can't forget him.
Jeez.
Lucas Sims and Austin Voth, one of those guys will wind up making it to the White Sox bullpen. I'm pretty sure Ben Peoples had some legit velocity as well back here. I think something like that. But again, Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz, if you want to talk about weird arm angles, these guys throw from slots and they throw pitch movements that you would never, ever, ever expect. And maybe the White Sox just start to get aggressive in calling those guys up. I know Schultz really hit a wall last year in terms of velocity and his command, I think at AA. So I do question where the ceiling is in a guy like him. He still looks like he has the body. I mean, he's 6'10". Like the guy looks like he still should be able to be a major league starter, but it's time where I'd like to see him perform a little bit better. But maybe it's just Colson Montgomery as a pitcher and just get him to the majors and see what happens.
I wonder if they know what side of the plate he throws, or what side of the mound he throws from. Do you think they think he's a lefty or a righty?
I mean, thank God Brandon Montgomery's a switch hitter because they made that trade and they don't have to worry about that one. Everyone's a switch hitter.
Oh, man, they definitely think they traded for Ronnie Mauricio. All right, what's the next team?
I mean, is it? My alphabet right now is a little bit rusty. Is it Cleveland or Cincinnati?
We'll go Cleveland,
Okay.
and it might be it's definitely Cincinnati, but we're gonna go Cleveland. Yes, I comes before L. Definitely supposed to be Cincinnati. For the Guardians, I went with a prospect. It's not going to be Travis Bazzana because I figured you were going to talk about him a little bit. I went with Ralphie Velasquez just because he's absolutely mashed in the minors. He's going to be a bopper. He's going to play first base, might be a DH at some point. Used to be a catcher. I don't think they're trying that anymore. I think it's just first base, DH, and even corner outfield a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's going to mash. I want to see him take some war hacks against some major league pitching.
I like that too. Velasquez is another guy who, I think the Fangraphs prospect guys love him.
Yes, I think so.
No other list really gives him love, but he's fun. I do want to talk about Bazzana quickly because I think he seems to me blatantly the best second baseman in the organization right now.
He's got to be better than Brian Rocchio.
Yeah, right. I mean, also, I think that the Guardians really intended to be aggressive with him. They drafted number 1 overall in 2024, below slot. When you draft for Major League Baseball, you're not always intending to get the best player, and that draft has already produced Nick Kurtz, Connor Griffin, Chase Burns, Trey Savage, Jack Cagliano, Carson Benz, JJ Weatherall, Gage Jump. So maybe it's a little bit of a whoops there trying to save $1 million on that slot. But last year he missed time with 2 separate oblique strains, which is kind of a fear for me, but he still had a 380 OPS, 380 on base, and 800 OPS between AA and AAA. The barrel rate was very high. We're seeing exit velocities that are getting towards the 110 range, which just tell me with a guy like Bazzana's barrel control and understanding of the strike zone, this still to me looks like a 20 homer, 350 on base bat.
Yes.
And I think that at second base is still going to be a very good baseball player. You watch him play, you're like, this guy can hit.
Yeah, he's a hitter at the plate. He's got a lot of confidence up there. And I hate talking about the intangibles, but he looks like a hitter at the plate.
And he acts like a hitter, and he has the barrel control that tells you hitter. Again, I don't know if his ceiling will ever be like all of those guys that were drafted after him. I just mentioned 2024, but a top 3 of a lineup with Kwan, Bazzana, Ramirez. Now you're at least playing some ball, and you can mix that up with JJ Weatherall, maybe Ralphie Velasquez. Kyle Manzardo's a nice power hitter from the left side. It gets much, much more interesting for this team. Also, they're going to develop relief demons. We know they are. That's what happens every single time. We have a few candidates here. Carlos Hernandez.
That was the first one I was looking at.
Has to be. He's going to throw 100. I mean, Kobe Allard, Pedro Avila. That's your yearly NRI for Cleveland. Cody Heuer has had nice stuff in the past. Another high slot fastball guy, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that quickly. He was in the White Sox organization for a little while.
Whoa, Trevor Stefan. That's a name I haven't seen in forever.
He was with them, left. Now he's come back trying to redeem with that team. He was not a high slot fastball. Heuer was more of a 3/4 guy. Had some natural run in his fastball, but still is a nice slider. That was always his primary pitch. And wow, over 7 feet of extension from a 3/4 release. Wow, even the last time, even 2025 last year in a very small sample, he's still missing bats. So again, these guys will wind up being demon middle relievers for the Guardians. It happens every single year, and it will happen again.
All right, let's move on to the Reds now. I think this is where we're going to go.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Reds. This one to me, again, I wasn't particularly interested in a lot of their NRIs, but kind of like you said with the Red Sox, What?
TJ Antone is back.
That's the one. That's the one I was picking. I know that.
Years.
That was my pick. That's what I was gonna say. I'm picking the guy who's trying to be like one of the first pitchers ever, I think, to come back from 3 elbow surgeries, and apparently he's touched 97 already on the mound. I mean, there's a world that TJ Antone's like one of the 4 best relievers on this team in 2026.
Here's something very funny: the Reds don't have an outfielder on their NRI list right now.
Yeah, you're right.
That's interesting.
I also considered putting Michael Toglia on here because it seems like him and Nathaniel Lowe are going to be fighting for like that depth first base spot for this team. Michael Toglia hits the ball hard, swings and misses probably more than anybody that you've ever seen, where Nathaniel Lowe's a little bit more of a safer pick where he's going to make a little more contact, less power. I'm interested to see who wins that out of camp. Maybe neither of them. Maybe they both suck, but those are guys I'm keeping an eye out to.
I'm in a 16-team dynasty league that has 65 roster spots per team.
Jesus.
TJ Antone, circa 2019 until the arm blew out, was such a hot commodity. People were, we were like, we got to get TJ Antone. Like, when you have that deep of a league, you're like, this guy can get to the rotation at some point. He was even nasty going back 2021 before it really blew. Like, he's, I keep burping. This is my coffee day. He's so gross. I really hope he can actually be back. I don't know if he ever will be. I hope the fastball can just hold around 93, 94. But I'm rooting for TJ Antone this spring to make that team this whole season.
Apparently touched 97. Apparently touched it.
Again, spring training guys, watch out for the touch. You need to sit.
Unless he's in the bullpen. Maybe he can just touch it once in a while.
Just touch it once in a while. That's all we need.
Weird sentence. All right, James, give me another team.
Rockies, Colorado.
Oh yeah, can I go on a rant about this?
Yes.
For what is without a doubt the worst roster in all of Major League Baseball, I can't believe how uninteresting their non-roster invites are. I struggled to find anybody interesting that isn't just their former first-round pick from 2 years ago, Charlie Condon. Everybody else on here, what are we doing? There's nobody. Cole Carrick, I guess, is a little interesting because super athlete, but everywhere else, it's just like these guys. I don't know if they ever make it to the majors.
Is it Carrick or Carrick?
Might be both. How about that?
Shout out my cousin Jonathan, who loves the windup. He loves Cole Carrick or Carrick, whatever it is. I mean, I think that for a team like the Rockies, it's just difficult to find guys who are willing to accept your NRI. Because if you're going to accept one, you probably want to go to an organization that can better support you. Like, I don't really blame any pitcher for being like, I just don't want to choose the Rockies.
Yeah, pitchers, I understand. The hitter, like Nicky Lopez, really? That's what we're doing?
I mean, Nicky Lopez could be Orlando Arcia.
I guess.
Like, that's big time there. But yeah, Condon's interesting. Carrick, again, super athlete. This is just not, it's really not that fun here.
I was really trying to even find a pitcher. I'm like, Valente Bayozo, like he can't pitch an inning in Colorado. He can't do it.
I would like to see
87.
him pitch. I'd like to see him pitch an inning in Colorado.
He sits 88, I think. There's just no way.
Maybe, again, with the signings of Quintana and Tomoyuki Sugano, maybe they're just going to be the no fastball Rockies. Like, you get a guy like Bayozo. Imagine he just throws 60% cutters.
But I guess, but it's still
his cutter isn't bad. That's actually a mildly interesting pitch. It's 85 with okay movement. Like, it's kind of acts more like a baby slider, but it has a good bit of lift on it. Like, it is a fun pitch movement-wise. If you throw 70% cutters, that's going to be a fun thing to watch. I will be tuning into Late Night Rockies if Yente Biozo is 70% cutters.
You heard it here first. I will not be. That's a pass, hard pass.
All right, so next I think we're heading to Detroit for the Tigers.
Let's go Tigers. All right, Tigers. They just have all their top prospects as their NRI, and I'm going to pick one of them, Max Clark. I want to see what he can do against Major League pitching. He's done really well so far. He's beaten all the expectations that I thought. I thought he was going to have a little more struggle at the plate, and he's just been really good, and he's going to be a premier defensive center fielder for a very long time.
All right, I'm going blatantly. Again, this is a team where you're going to pick the top prospects, Kevin McGonigal.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Briseño, your guy.
I like Briseño too, but I have more notes right now on McGonigal, where last year I think that his shine was a little bit dulled because he had a sprained or a broken ankle early in the season in high A. When he got back, he was 370, 460, 650 I think that was as 20-year-old. And then when he got to Double A, it was a 900 OPS and 12 homers in 45 games with more walks and strikeouts. He's only a year older than Connor Griffin. He had better results at Double A than Connor Griffin did. Different physically. Like, it's cool that McGonigal has a 112 max EV in the minors.
Yes.
He also had allegedly 118 mile per hour foul ball in the AFL, which is that's obscene. But still only 71 mile per hour bat speed, which is like
middling.
It's middling. It's not bad. You could definitely be a very good player. Like, that's Rafael Devers' bat speed. That's Zach Neto's bat speed. But definitely your batted ball distributions will be much more much more of a factor in how much game power you can get to. And I think he's going to be nasty from the get-go. I think the Tigers might be low-key relying on him to be their starting shortstop this season because they just don't really have one at the moment. I'm sorry to the Zach McKinstry defenders out there or the Javier Baez hive, but he's gross. And I said Josue Briseño. I don't know if he'll ever actually catch, but the dude is he's got lumber.
Yeah, no, he can swing it, that's for sure, and he might end up becoming a first baseman DH down the line for sure.
For sure. And again, I think we mentioned in the last video, but there's really a smattering of interesting-ish relief options here between Tanner Rainey, Sean Gunther, Scott Efros, I think Gunther, Tyler Owens, Connor Pilkington. Like, there's weirdly Ricky Vanasco.
Birch Smith, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
That's a legend right there, Birch Smith. Birch Smith is like 35 years old, just going out there to keep the dream alive. But the Tigers do well with their major league relief pitching development, so I'm excited to see a few of those guys, especially Scott Efros. The stuff is still cool. It's so funky that there'll be something there.
He's the one who throws like completely across his body, right?
Yes. He was traded for Haven Wesneski. That was like the weird Cubs Yankees trade from like 4 years ago.
Yes, that was the bizarre trade.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
Okay.
I mean, okay, sure.
That's a trade.
Next team, James.
Next team after Detroit, Houston Astros.
Okay, this is the one. Oh, I literally don't have a name. I have nobody I'm interested in on this non-roster invite. Zero. Like, I could pretend to be interested in Walker Yannick, but like, he's not going to be at the majors for like 3 years probably. There's a long way to go. You know, I'm going to pretend to be interested in Kevin Biggio and Taylor Trammell. Like, we just know what they are. They're not very good.
What about Edwin Diaz?
Wrong Edwin Diaz. If they had the reliever, I'd be interested. But they got the infielder, and shockingly, at 31, you haven't heard anything about this guy. Like, where is the exciting player here?
Every time I write a recap for Edwin Diaz on Road the World, it always gives me this one first. I get so bad every single time.
You're like, how?
I mean, probably the best name we're going to see in Jax Biggers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous game, that's for sure.
This is also, I think a lot of people sometimes are like, the Astros didn't even get penalized for their cheating scandal. I think 5 years after the penalty, when you think about the picks that were taken away from them, and you see the NRIs, this point in time being this unit, they got penalized for that scandal.
I was literally looking up like on Twitter about all these pitchers to find anything. There's nothing. Like, Sam Carlson's the one guy that I knew, and Christian Roa prior to looking at this list. But I think Christian Roa has kind of been and like Sam Carlson got famous because I think he got big on Instagram. Like, that's kind of it.
Christian Roa just has like a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. That's like
okay.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's got decent. It got some right on it, but it has some run too. It got a two-seamer that plays off it. Like, that's mildly interesting.
Yeah, sorry Astros that we don't have any better choices, but you literally didn't give us an option.
Yeah, Michael Nora had something back in the day, but I think it still might. I don't really know what anymore.
Yeah, like, I'm literally trying to find anybody. Like, they have old guys on these too. There's not even like exciting young guys. Like, oh, who's this? And then there's nothing to it.
No, nothing. Let's move on to the Royals.
Yeah, let's go to the Royals. I'm done with the Astros. They pissed me off. Let's see your Kansas City Royals, James.
My Royals.
I went with an old but forgotten name, Aaron Sanchez. Had to go with him. I couldn't believe he got signed again. And I think he's like throwing in the mid-90s. He might be a reliever now. It's kind of cool.
He's been a huge meme on Twitter that the Royals are giving one more shot to Aaron Sanchez. Also, this team has invited 7 catchers as NRIs.
Whoa, Canyon 7. Brown. That's an awesome name, Canyon Brown. Is this a typo? Is this Eli Marrero, the Eli Marrero, or
probably?
That's kind of nuts. Yeah, there's a lot of guys on here for a team that also, by the way, has a ton of catching.
Yes. Also, we got Brandon Drury, Kevin Newman, Josh Rojas, Abraham Toro. Like, this is a unit of early 2020s middle utility infielders.
Guys who like played every day for like a year and a half on bad teams.
Hector Neris. A lot of this is just us saying names. Jose Cuas, he's old now. Yes. He's had some stuff in the past. I believe it was actually it was a nice slider, if I remember right. He was a guy that always popped on the stuff models early, but just could never find the strike zone. He's bounced around to a couple teams as an NRI in the last few years. There's a Royals team that this group is lacking a little bit. Frank Mozzicato, former first-round pick.
He was a big reach, too. The Royals took him just to go aggressively under slot, and it seems like he's going to be a lefty reliever at best, probably.
Okay, so Cuas is a pure sidearmer who has a sinker that has tons of drop on it. That's something
that the Cubs?
He was with the Cubs. I think he was with the Jays. I think he was drafted by the Jays.
Was that the Brewers? Nelson Velasquez trade? Did you say that?
It might have been. I didn't say that, but that sounds right to me. But I think Jose Cuas, as a pure side armor, can get some weird middle relief outs and be kind of funky with a very nice sinker.
I also, just again, shout out New Jersey. I believe Shane Panzini is from New Jersey, so I hope he does well.
A couple Paisans in this NRI pitcher mix.
Who we got?
Next would be I want to say the Dodgers or the Angels? The Angels.
Angels. Yeah, we'll go Angels. I actually am interested in some of their NRIs because...
Well, they're all former first-round picks.
Yes, it's not a very good team, but the one that jumped out to me was George Clausen. They got him from the Phillies, and he seems like a guy who probably should just be in their rotation as soon as possible. I don't think that they're going to have him out of spring training on their team, but I would expect by even May, if he has a couple good starts in AAA, that he'll be there. The stuff's really good, and he's kind of like... He was a big piece back. Was that the...
Marsh?
Was that Marsh? I think it was Marsh, right? Because they made like 7 trades together, the Angels and the Phillies at one point.
It may not have been, but Klassen throws 100 from a weird slot and has a very good slider. Like, this guy looks like he's going to be a dog. I don't know why he's the one prospect they've slow played.
Yeah, they speed everybody else up.
So maybe they just think he's that good, but Klassen touched 100 already in the live BP. And again, he has that nasty slider. Maybe they just put every single minor league developmental resource into him, and that's kind of the whole thing. But that's just them trying to do. But I think he is going to be a nice pitcher. Also, there's other guys here who throw gas. I think Chase Shores can get in the upper 90s. I think Nate Snead as well. I think Angel Perdomo has in the past. I'm not sure where he is now. It's just, I think Huascar Ynoa used to, but that was a long time ago.
When he was with the Braves, right? Huascar Ynoa?
And there's also similarly, let's give some of these utility infielders of yesteryear a chance. Heimer Candelario, Adam Frazier just ripping darts in the clubhouse, Nico Cavadas, Nick Madrigal, Trey Mancini, which is awesome. I like to see Trey Mancini possibly get another shot. Donovan Walton,
Yolmer Sanchez. You're just gonna skip Yolmer?
I guess I was gonna skip Yolmer. Wade Meckler, Jose Siri, Chris Taylor. They're trying to build a real good quad A team in this NRI unit.
The other really cool name on here is Nelson Rada. This is one of the few hitters that they've really fast-tracked. I think he got up to AAA last year, and he was 19 years old. He's a tiny guy, makes a ton of contact, but there's a weird chance he's going to be at the majors at 20 this year, and you're just going to be there he is, Nelson Rada.
I mean, he's fast. He could play defense. That's a nice thing for this Angels team, who's allegedly going to try and play Mike Trout in center field, which is just play Nelson Rada there at that point. And also, I think that
Chris Taylor's on this too. Ugh.
Yeah, I said that. The Angels, them fast tracking the prospects hasn't worked that poorly.
Ish
with some of them. I think that
it worked well with Neto.
It's a fun joke, but sometimes it's not awful. Nolan Shanuel's been a slightly above average baseball player.
Yeah, he's the 25th best first baseman. So again, I think frame that differently. He's in terms of the position he plays, he's not been very good. But
yeah, it's true.
In terms of how fast he got there, it's not a disaster. He's by no mean a bad problem. He's just not particularly good as of right now.
No, and just talking about the names that are even on this Major League roster, like Josh Lowe, Jorge Soler, Travis d'Arnaud, Vaughn Grissom, there's going to be some injuries. Alec Manoah, Grayson Rodriguez, there's going to be a lot of chances for lots of other guys. But I like the call-outs for Rada and Klassen. Especially Klassen might be nasty.
Klassen could legitimately be their best pitcher on the team right now.
No, I don't chastise Jose Soriano. Jose Soriano went out there last year, pitched every 5 days, and was decent.
I guess let's see what Jose Soriano could do with capable defense behind him. Maybe that's the issue.
I like Soriano. I think Soriano's a chance. He's popping in a lot of the projections right now. I think he was on every one of my fantasy teams last year. He's a demon sinkers. I love that.
Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, their NRI is a little bit different because they have a full roster of 70 guys that are going to be at the major league level. So a lot of these aren't particularly interesting. I went the prospect route. I just went with Josue De Paula just because Stephon Marbury's cousin has been one of the top prospects in baseball for the last few years. Hit ball hard, get on base, all the things that you like.
Similarly, Zaire Hope, his prospect shine fell a bit last year. Really struggled with breaking balls, but good physical tools there. Should be a high on-base guy. Strong side platoon. Similarly, James Tibbs, who they got for Dustin May after he was the quote, air quotes, main piece for Rafael Devers. Oddly has some nice batted ball data. And
mashed when he got to the Dodgers.
And seems like a functional outfield defender. I don't know if he's good enough to play center, but I think that especially because the Dodgers really want center field defense.
He's a corner guy.
Yeah, it's going to be Pajes. Next going to be Eduardo Quintero. He's going to be the NRI guy we shout out in the 2027 spring training preview on the windup. Also, you want to hear about some names, prospects of yesteryear.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Senzel, Keston Hura, Shout out Antoine Kelly. He was a monster in the Brewers system. I think he got TOS, so it's sad, but happy to see him getting a shot to make a club. You got Cole Irvin here. You got Jackson Ferris.
Yep.
Like, I love just naming baseball players. You got Ryther Ryan. I didn't even know they had the Ryther Ryan. I only knew River Ryan.
That's his brother.
Also, Chucky Robinson, Sebi Savala. Like, this is good little unit here for the Dodgers, but it's way worthwhile to shout out the high-end prospects.
Also, are you hip to Adam Serwinowski?
I'm not. Tell me about him.
Okay, so left-handed pitcher. They got him in some trade, I believe, last year. I don't remember exactly what it is, but what do you know? As soon as he gets to the Dodgers, he's throwing like 97, striking everybody out. And they got him I want to say he was part of a 3-team trade where he just went to the Dodgers for kind of no reason.
I mean, it's kind of like similarly they got Tibbs for kind of just being there, being around.
For existing.
Yeah, and it's like they just keep kind of bringing all this stuff up.
Who is the next team alphabetically?
Next team alphabetically, is it going to be the Minnesota Twins, Miami Marlins?
Miami Marlins. I'm shocked you're not on roster resource just going on the alphabetical thing.
I am, but it's split between AL and NL, so I got to make
okay.
split decisions and try to do the alphabet in my head while you're talking.
All right, that's good. Listen, sharp. Miami Marlins, James, what's the name that jumps out to you?
Name that jumps out to me. They're not loading here. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Kemp Alderman. I don't know, how he gets to playing time besides injuries right now because, weirdly, the Marlins outfield's kind of set, and they have a couple other options as well. But Kemp Alderman, not a top prospect by any means, but he hits the ball exceptionally hard, doesn't really strike out very much, is a good athlete too. He's, weirdly one of those fun chaos players that it seems like the Marlins have done a really good job of developing that near Major League Baseball talent to getting more. And Kemp Alderman feels like someone who might just really shock some people that aren't hip to non-top 100 prospects in AAA.
Yeah, right. He's not a little bit older now. He's older for a AAA prospect, but he's still kind of in the age where he can break through. Similarly, a lot of these guys they've traded for recently, 3 players they got back for Ryan Weathers from the Yankees, Dylan Lewis, Brendan Jones, and Dylan Jaso were all NRIs for them. Again, as slightly older prospects who are going to be fringe major leaguers if any of their major league outfielders stumble. But this is all about Robbie Snelling and Thomas White. Robbie Snelling I think he's been very underrated right now in the prospect space just because he's been very inconsistent as a minor leaguer. High-end draft pick. I think he was second round, first round, maybe
I believe he was
a comp
either
pick.
He might have been a comp pick, end of the first round, or weirdly at the beginning of the second because he was also a football player as well.
He was a 4-star linebacker recruit who had taken a visit with LSU. Just talk about the guys like physicality. I said that exactly in my YouTube video about him, but I'm saying the same line again. He looked like one of the best pitching prospects in the league his first year as a pro. It was a 182 ERA. It was split between low A, high A, and double A with a 20% strikeout minus walk rate as a 19-year-old who was not even fully focusing on baseball yet. It seems like, though, he didn't really take... I don't want to accuse a guy of not taking care of themselves or not doing their work, but his fastball velo dropped 2 full ticks from his first professional season to his second. His ERA went to 6, the walks went up, the strikeouts went down. Then he got traded for Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing. And then the second he got to the Marlins organization, it was a whole new rhythm right there. Yep. And last year he was back to throwing 95, 96. Really nice shape on his fastball, a crazy good curveball, a passable changeup. And last year in AAA, he was unhittable. He didn't give up any runs. He didn't give up any hard contact. He didn't give up any walks. He missed tons of bats in the zone, got guys to chase out of it. If he sits 95 miles per hour, he easily could jump to the league and just be good right now. And I talk about him ahead of Thomas White. White probably has a deeper repertoire and more of a ceiling, but I think he's just a step behind Snelling developmentally, and Snelling will get that first shot.
My boy's Thomas White. I love me some Thomas White.
He's nasty.
He's my ahead of Robbie Snelling, but Snelling has looked great since going to Miami.
I'm saying Snelling's ahead of him in who's going to get the shot first.
Interesting.
He's pitched more at AAA. I think he just gets and the back of the rotation is vile after trading Cabrera and Ryan Weathers. Not only is it bad, it's injury prone. It's a funny combination of two of those things. Braxton Garrett hasn't pitched in 2 years. Who else we got here? Chris Paddock. You guys know who everything about Chris Paddock by now. Then
he's coming home.
He's coming home. Jansen Junk is fun, but I think more as a long reliever than a true starter. And the other pitchers out there are going to get chances Bradley Blaylock, Adam Mazer, Ryan Gusto. It's just let Robbie Snelling get some innings.
They will. They'll give him a shot at some point.
I think it's a good shot there. So next, I think we got the Twins.
Minnesota Twins. Did they have anybody interesting? Oh yeah, they did. I went Walker Jenkins with them for all the reasons.
That's your boy.
It's just my boy. It's my guy. Again, friend of the channel. Freak athlete. Great, crazy power. could be a franchise cornerstone. He just needs to stay healthy because he's a Twins prospect, and Twin prospects are never healthy.
No, that's a good pull right there. First of all, just shout out Liam Hendricks.
Yep, of course.
Love Liam Hendricks. Want him to get another shot. Grant Hartwig, former Mets guy back there. Julian Merriweather. I mean, if the arm doesn't fly off at the shoulder, like there's at least something interesting. But I'm starting to kind of like Kalen Culpepper. I know that the glove and just the general, his swing has come into question a little bit, whether or not he can stick with Major League velocity and Major League breaking balls. But even getting to AA last year, the results were really good, especially age to level. It's just whether or not he can kind of clean up kind of like the biomechanics. I don't know if I trust the Twins to help him do that. And I don't know why he's not being considered more of a, not a lock, not a shoe-in, but like why he's not more so jumping up these top prospects lists, as long as we're assuming the defense can get himself to Major League shortstop caliber as a 20 home or 20 steal guy.
I think that's the thing. I think everyone sees the productions like it's great, and then I think they're just like, is it real? But he's kind of done this his entire career, so maybe it's just one of those guys where it's not going to make a ton of sense. He's just a good ball player.
Yeah, but again, maybe also like there's something about have you seen his swing?
It's a little funky.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Love it.
It's a big leg kick for a guy that hasn't been challenged by velocity yet. And again, but when he has, like last year, 22-year-old AA, like he smacked it, like
crushed it.
Like why? Sometimes maybe we just have to just think about these guys can do it if they've done it, but also there's fear when there's like a lot of herky-jerky motions in the box.
Who we got next, James?
I think it's the Brewers, Brew Crew.
Let's go Brew Crew. There's some picks on here that I could have been a homer, but because it's the Brewers, I had to go Chaos. And there's a name on here called Tate Kuehner. I don't know how to say this guy's last name. 6'1" lefty, throws from a super, super low slot, basically sidearm, and throws like 97 with disgusting stuff as a starting pitcher. This could be a Chaos all of a sudden spot start in July. And you're like, who's this guy that my team's going up against? And you're like, oh, 4-inning shutout baseball. We got one guy on base. Like he has some really, really interesting stuff from such a unique arm slot with some velo from the left side.
Yeah, just because, again, the Brewers, one, have a very strong 40-man roster, and you always do want to give them the credit for, just finding these relievers out of nowhere. I think Garrison Garabito is another guy who is just a really funky dude. Like, he's got strange stuff, cut right in his fastball, even though it's not very hard, but we love the shape of it. They'll just find a way to get him to get big outs at some point. He's also a very breaking ball forward pitcher. He has been the last few years, because, again, that fastball is not thrown very hard. Jesus Madeo looks like a
well, yeah, I mean, he's like the
bit
obvious one, but it's just like we know he's not on the major league team right now.
No, for sure. I also want to shout out Luis Lara. It's going to be a speed defense first outfielder, but it looks like he could just glide through center field. Again, he hit last year at AA, but it's mostly going to be a slappy hitter who can take walks and just steal tons of bases. Last year he stole 44 bases in 136 games at AA. And he has to get added to the 40-man roster by the end of this season, and the Brewers just usually don't like to let those guys go, especially when their profile is plus defenders. Like, he could just figure out his way into the mix of being like a center fielder who plays games and is defensive replacement for them. Also, Greg Jones. He had some fun batted ball day back in the day.
That was when he was with the Rays, right? I believe Greg Jones.
Believe so. It's fun to look at these lists because you just think about the prospect analysis of yesteryear. Just kind of roll it in.
Who's next up?
Next, after the Brewers, we got our New York Mets.
Oh, let's go. Mets. All right. I went Carson Bench, which is boring and chalk. But, I mean, he might be our starting right fielder on opening day. I got to see what this dude's got. He's the most, of all these guys, I'm watching him by far the most because he might just be in the lineup every single day.
Totally. You have a 90th percentile average exit velocity, a graphic on Just Baseball today when we're recording this. That was the same as Drake Baldwin's last year. He does not chase. He makes tons of contact in the zone. Like, he looks like just kind of a rock-solid, good Major League Baseball player. But otherwise, just to be a little different, have a little fun, Adbert Alzolay.
Yes.
Back with the Mets, signed last year, rehabbed with them, spent the whole year at the facility in St. Lucie in the pitching lab. If the stuff is good, he might wind up being a high-leverage reliever for the Mets. And I do think after what he's been through arm-wise, there's a chance the stuff's not good. But if it is, again, it's all right there. Also a prospect that's a kind of low-key a friend of Mark and I's, Ryan Lambert.
Yes.
Dude throws 100 with like 22 inches of IVB in the minor leagues.
It's one of the best fastballs in Major League Baseball right now.
But everything else, we're still working on that. We got to get the command right. Also, Mark and I have a deal with him that when he gets called up to the majors, we got to drink raw eggs with him.
Yeah.
Just came from the Mets Dub podcast. Also, shout out our boy Chris Suero.
Yes, I thought you were going to say him.
Chris Suero is an athletic fucking freak in the Mets system. He's from the Bronx, so he's got New York in him. they're trying to kind of Dalton Varsho him a little bit, where he's a catcher by trade, and now he's been playing some outfield and finally mixing in center field just because he's really fast. They're trying to teach it to him. Also, plus bat speed. Like, there's a world where Chris Suero just kind of becomes a very, very capable major league outfielder who can play catcher, who has very fun hit tools, speed, just plus athleticism. He's not really getting enough shine or love right now.
Him becoming a top prospect would be such a huge win for Mets player development from the hitting side. That'd be insane.
And he's not really getting any top prospect shine, but oopsie, Jordan Rosenblum's projection system that is live on Fangraphs ranked Suero as a top 75 prospect, only based on data and bat speed.
Listen, I like both of those things, so it sounds good to me.
Right? That's it right there. Go to the Yankees now?
Yeah, let's go to the Yankees. They actually do have an interesting non-roster invite list.
Tons.
I'll give them credit. Again, good team, and they're like, let's see what everybody's got. And there's a lot of their pitching prospects that are on there. There's a lot of their hitting prospects that are on there, like George Lombard. Will he ever hit? I don't know. I'm not sure, but he is a top prospect in the game. That being said, I went with Carlos Lagrange, I think, or Lagrange.
That guy.
He did the Luis Robert thing where you can say it two different ways. I wish they would just come out and say one way so that I know the right way. But Carlos Lagrange, I mean, just throws absolute gas. The stuff's electric, and it probably gets to the majors this year, right? It's weird because the Yankees' rotation's so loaded, but also at the same time, his stuff is ridiculously good.
Are you hip to Ernesto Ramirez?
I don't know a thing about him. Who is that?
So he's a bit of an older prospect, monster first baseman, came from the Brewers system.
Ernesto Martinez?
Ernesto Martinez, yeah.
Okay. Did you say Ramirez, I think?
Oh, it's Ramirez? I meant Martinez, my bad. Stupid batted ball data.
Oh, he's
Stupid.
huge.
Huge, dude. And he's a major swing decisions guy, like an uber patient guy in the minor leagues. I'm going to double check myself to remember right now, but they pulled him. Did the Brewers cut him? I don't remember what happened with him in the Brewers. Yeah, it was a minor league. He's Cuban, 6'6", left-handed batter, first base only, of course. Yeah, minor league contract with invite to spring training. I guess he was cut by the Brewers, but this oddly just reminds me of Ben Rice in terms of swing decisions and pulled fly balls from a big lumbering first baseman from the left side. And last year in Double-A, as a 25-year-old, so again, age level, not that big of a deal, but a 150 WRC plus with a 370 on-base percentage.
It's pretty good.
He looks like, again, still with the Brewers, hasn't taken a plate appearance with the Yankees yet. Just these kind of guys like this, like once in a while, like are late bloomers, and you're like, where did Ernesto Martinez come to hit 30 home runs in Yankee Stadium?
Also, just for some jokes, a lot of former Mets on here with Zach Short being on this roster. You got Ali Sanchez, a former Met, Rafael Montero being a former Met, Dom Hamill being a former Met. Is there anybody else I'm missing on here? Because, again, the Mets are the only team that signed players from the Yankees. So
no, also really want to shout out Ben Hess. I think he's probably, the Yankees have a good crop of upper minors pitching prospects right now. I think Hess is my favorite with a wicked curve.
He's from Alabama, right?
I believe so. He gets up to the upper 90s. I think he was a relatively high draft pick, but
yes.
him and Lagrange are nice. Lagrange to me just has a lot more relief risk because of where the command is. But he throws like 100 and he got unbelievable style. Yeah, from Alabama, first round pick, 2024. Hess just seems to have a better feel for multiple off speed pitches and still a very nice fastball. And not so good of command, but the Yankees find a way to get these bad command guys and just kind of figure it out eventually.
Also, shout out us, Marco Luciano, playing the outfield possibly for the Yankees this year. We saw him play one game at the Arizona Fall League, and we were like, this guy, like, mega stinks.
It seemed, I don't know, you never want to say it, but the guy, he just seemed like disinterested. He wasn't really hustling, getting after those ground balls. You don't love to see that.
And his swing decisions were absolutely terrible, so.
Terrible. All right, moving on to the Phillies.
Phillies next. Phillies, mine was pretty simple because I will never give up on Brian De La Cruz, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope Brian De La Cruz doesn't figure it out with the Phillies, but man, there's going to be one time, I mean, maybe it's just in the KBO or the MPB that Brian De La Cruz puts it all together and becomes the elite hitter that he was born to be.
Why does Brian De La Cruz only sign with teams in the National League East?
And not the Mets.
And not the Mets, exclusively because he has to kill the Mets. That's part in his blood, it's in his DNA. I mean, just as chalk, Aiden Miller.
Yeah.
I think Aiden Miller is by far the best third baseman in the Phillies organization. He's probably also the best second baseman. Like he looks like a freak, really good bat speed, very, very, very patient. I think he will have major league power eventually. I think it might take 2 or 3 years to convert that raw power to game power. Don't have tons of exit velocity data because he didn't play much in low A and he hasn't gotten to AAA yet, but just he looks like he's going to run a high on base percentage, steal tons of bags, be a good defender. He's also just He's a ball player. You could
He is a
watch.
ball player.
You see the way the guy moves around. You're like, this guy's going to be good. And a good stat here from David Adler, MLB.com: 357 batting average and 714 slugging percentage against fastballs 95 miles per hour or harder.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, good little pull right there. And we know how much the Phillies don't want Alec Bohm playing every day anymore, even though he's going to hit cleanup on opening day. So I think they're really ready for Aiden Miller to take that step and be that guy.
Also, you're going to keep an eye out on Justin Crawford, who may be the starting center fielder for Phillies on opening day. They've invited like 11 catchers as non-roster invites too, because I think
Well, they need to.
They're trying their hardest to make sure Garrett Stubbs or Rafael Marchand doesn't have to be the backup catcher if necessary. But this was, I mean, you know the guys that you want for the Phillies here that you're looking at.
Totally. And Jonathan Hernandez has electric stuff, has dealt with lots of arm troubles, lots of injuries. Hennessy Cabrera as well. Just some guys to see. The Phillies' major league development with relievers has been quite good. I think the last few years, I could see some of these relievers popping.
Next up, Pirates.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Pirates.
I mean, I think we'll just talk about Connor Griffin again, right?
I mean, can we just talk about him more? Why not?
Yeah, let's talk about him more if you guys haven't had enough. This is him. Talk about that. There's a chance he just comes up and is like one of the 50 best players in baseball as a 19-year-old this season.
So last year, the batted ball data we have on Connor Griffin from low A, we had 114 mile per hour max exit velocity, 8 batted balls hit harder than 110 miles per hour, 28 hit harder than 105 miles per hour. He only spent 50 games in low A, and he had the average of more than one a game, a ball hit harder than 105 miles per hour. He also had 108 mile per hour, 90th percentile exit velocity. So that basically just takes, usually people take average exit velocity, which is your median exit velocity. Or no, your average exit velocity. There's also 50th percentile exit velocity, which is your median, just to be a stat nerd for a second. His 108 mile per hour, 90th percentile, which is you take off the top 10% of hard hit balls he had, it was similar to Bobby Witt, Fernando Tatis, Julio Rodriguez, Nick Kurtz, Juan Soto, Rafael Devers.
Those are all good baseball players, huh?
The top 5% of all baseball players on earth, and that was how hard Connor Griffin was hitting the ball. And he's like, it just looks like if he's the opening day shortstop, he could be one of like the 30 best players in baseball off the bat.
Legitimately could be the reason why the Pirates compete for a wild card spot, whether or not he starts opening day.
And whether or not, of course, he hits. Sometimes, like Bobby Witt came up as a rookie and was like a little bit better than league average, but a great defender. I could definitely see that happening.
Bobby Witt struggled with the glove. He did
struggle with the glove.
He was horrible defensively, too. That was the weird thing with him. And then now he's just the best defensive shortstop we've seen in a while.
Yeah, Major League Baseball is much faster, but the fact that Griffin started the year at 18, ended the year at 19, got a cup of coffee in Double-A, they know what they have, and they're ready to see it.
Yeah, that's the only pick for the Pirates.
And there's not really many other interesting guys, so it's easy to make that pick.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Mike Clevenger's career end.
I can't wait to get the guy out of the league.
Take your dip spit and throw it at your baby. Good guy.
Terrible guy.
Who are we going to next?
San Diego Padres, our Padres.
Our Padres. We went from our Pirates, or my Pirates, to our Padres. They are, I think it's easy to pick one of these weirdo pitchers that might be their 5th starter over JP Sears. I got to see what Ethan Salas has, because I never understood the hype. He was ranked as one of the top 10 prospects of a couple years ago. He's still hanging around top 100 prospect lists, and it's all because of his defense, but he's literally never hit for a second of his professional career.
He's also still 19.
Sure.
He's still, I think, 5 or 6 years younger than Cal Raleigh when he got to AAA.
This started, though, my theory about the Padres, where they manufacture their prospect rankings just by putting young guys up at high levels.
Possibly, but I also think that when he was a 17-year-old in low A and hit well, there is still high-end major league starter upside in Ethan Salas. I just think he needs to be 3 or 4 years older.
He should possible.
Even this year, if he struggles at Double-A, just go back to High A again. Why not at this point? Because I think he also dealt with a bunch of injuries last year. You just might need a mental reset in Ethan Salas, but at the same time, it's if he's one of the best defenders in the league, which is how Cal Raleigh got to the majors, if he breaks out at 28, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, maybe it's just 10 years from now.
If Ethan Salas' breakout happens in 10 years, I'll be like, damn, Ethan Salas, that worked out. It just
2036.
I remember I was in the pitcher list Discord. People were talking about trying to sell high on Ethan Salas, and I was like, get him for anything right now, because he might not break out till he's 27 years old, which will be from that time again almost 9 years away. That's just how it works sometimes. That's okay.
Who's your pick there, James?
I mean, why do I think that Ty France and Jose Miranda are going to get major at bats for this team this season? Because they'll probably be all right.
Because it's the Padres. But also, who's their first baseman right now? It's
Gavin Sheets.
Gavin Sheets. That's probably why you think it, because he's really a DH.
No, but he also can play first base. But I think they're both right-handed bats. You want a lefty platoon, because I think Cronenworth's also a lefty bat, correct?
Yes.
So one of those guys probably makes the team as the right-handed hitter on the Padres bench who can give you some defensive versatility. And they've both had times in the last few years where they've both been pretty good.
What did Jose Miranda have that stretch where he got like 11 straight hits or something like that?
Something like that. Oh, I forgot Nick Castellanos took that job now. So never mind,
he's
actually.
the DH, yeah.
He's the DH. He'll probably wind up playing backup first base, honestly.
Yeah, not really the most exciting NRIs. I guess just because we do dog them all the time too for their pitching, that's the one to talk about. Like who's going to be their 5 between Tristan McKenzie, Marco Gonzalez, Walker Buehler, those guys.
There's been intrigue around Jagger Haynes in the past. I think his stuff has ticked down over the last few years, but I don't know, maybe hang out Ruben Niebla, get some magic there. But just this is all about Walker Buehler, Marco Gonzalez, and Tristan McKenzie,
which I guess that says a lot. But those guys are probably going to get big innings for the Padres this year. So.
Of those 3 guys, who you think actually can be the best?
Walker Buehler, by far. Tristan McKenzie, if he's still throwing 90 poo, like he's got nothing. Marco Gonzalez is just hoping. Like, what is it? In the summer months in San Diego, it plays tiny, but every other month it plays huge. Like, maybe he just pitches in April and September.
Is it the opposite? Because they have the weird, they have the marine layer over there.
Yeah, whatever it is where it plays massive, that's when Marco Gonzalez shines.
Yes, that's what we need to do. But it's you could definitely see the different logic and process for a lot of these teams for NRIs, and the Padres are like, can anybody contribute?
Yes. Who's next?
Giants.
Ooh, the Giants. I went with again. I didn't find their list particularly interesting. Gregory Santos was someone that I used to love, but it just seems like he might not have it anymore based on what we've seen in the last couple of years. I went with Michael Fulmer. Forgot he existed. I went, oh my God, Michael Fulmer. Like you were traded for Yoenis Cespedes. Thank God, because I mean he had a decent career at one point, but I don't think he's pitched in the majors in a couple seasons. So
no,
let's see what he's got. They gave him number 32. It feels like they might give him a legit look.
There's also another team that has a very stacked 40-man roster. They made that trade with the Mets last year for Tyler Rogers, where they pulled 4 or 5 guys off the Mets 40-man roster and brought them onto theirs. Jose Butto is going to be middle reliever for them. Blade Tidwell's probably their SP7. Drew Gilbert's their 4th outfielder. They were just like, give us volume right now. I'm really pulling for Will Bednar.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's your guy.
Of like Will's a dog. I mean, if you guys just remember that 2021 College World Series, he was the best baseball player on the planet for like a week. Like
it's awesome.
It's still in there. He's had some really bad back issues recently, which is a shame. We don't know where the stuff's at right now, but just build some confidence. It took his brother a long time to break out as well, Dave, and now Dave's one of the best closers in the league. Like, let's get to the majors, Will. Let's see what we got.
Simply looking at height and weight, which we know can be very, very wrong, especially a lot of times for these Latino players, I got to know what Juan Sanchez is doing at 5'9", 165 from the left side. I have to know.
That just has to be how tall he was and how much he weighed when he was 17 years old.
Yes, because like if that's the height he's at now, this could be one of the coolest pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm excited to watch that.
Okay, I think we're on Mariners now?
Yeah, we're on Mariners.
Mariners, okay. This one's a fun one because I think... Am I reading into the tea leaves a little bit here, James? But do you see what Kate Anderson's number is?
Yeah.
It's number 13.
Dude, that's been my bold prediction coming through this whole offseason is that we might actually get a whiff of Kate Anderson this season. Which Kate Anderson, if he goes to the Mariners School of Velocity, he could easily be one of the best pitchers like in the whole league.
Like if they just get him throwing 96, 97 consistently, he's probably just a major league pitcher right now.
I mean, he sat like 92, 93 at LSU, correct?
Yeah,
Am I mistaken? That?
Yeah, he sat mid, like he topped out mid-90s.
So if he can even sit 94, 95 to touch 97, like that, suddenly he's up 3 leather grades for me. I also think that they need Dane Dunning, and we talk about Cooper Criswell way too much on this channel. They need those guys to be the major league depth because it's very thin after their 5, unless it gets to Anderson or Ryan Sloan, who's already made waves at spring training. He's already touching 100. He's working on his sinker.
And he's got great command.
He does, but he's a righty changeup guy. So we do definitely probably need to see something glove side from him. But maybe that's what the 2-seamer is going to be. He could just live on the hands of the right-handers, and that's how we can just get them out.
Other interesting names I'm just going to quickly mention. Luke Stevenson. I saw him play his state finals for North Carolina in high school when I was getting ready to play YouTubers versus the Burlington Sock Puppets. He was playing at that stadium. He is a freak athlete behind the plate, has a cannon of an arm, absolutely mashed at North Carolina. I like him as a player. He's a cool one. And then, of course, I've always got to mention Lazaro Montes. There's just a world where he's going to hit a ball further than you've ever seen. That's my guy.
Also, top prospects, Johnny Farmelo, but especially Colt Emerson. Brendan Donovan's a very fun chess piece for the Mariners because he could play second, third, or outfield, just depending on how a lot of these prospects shake out. If Emerson goes to AAA and just rakes, and he has to be in the Major League roster, even though he's played like a few dozen games in the upper minors, it just might have to. He has all the tools to be an elite baseball player, especially as a left-handed hitting infielder. Probably, I don't know if he will actually hold at short, but he can definitely hold at third. Like that's a weapon, left-handed hitting third baseman.
Yeah, that'd be sick for the Mariners. They have a fun NRI group of guys, a lot of good players.
I mean, great farm system and great organizational process. They're always going to have that.
Who is our next team?
Cardinals.
Oh, man, Cardinals. All right. St. Louis Cardinals. Again, going through this list, maybe there are some pitchers that I'm missing just because I'm not the hippest to a lot of their boring guys that they have in their system. Although, do you see my boy Bruce Zimmerman? We talked about him yesterday. Bruce Zimmerman on the list. He won't die. To me, the most interesting guy is Chase Davis. Like, I could pick J.J. Weatherholt, but we just know he's going to probably be on the Major League roster opening day. He's good.
Yeah.
He is what he is. Chase Davis came out of University of Arizona. Mm-hmm. He went viral for basically having the exact same stance as swing as Carlos Gonzalez. He played well a little bit in a small sample, I think, at Double-A last year. Prior to that, he had struggled. Ton of swing and miss, ton of chase, but he takes war hacks and is a good athlete. So Cardinals should be taking chances on guys like that.
Definitely. I thought you were going to talk about your boy Blaze Jordan.
He just, I don't know, he plays first base and, hits okay.
Yeah, Zach Thompson and especially Quinn Matthews have guys that flashed as high-end pitching prospects. Thompson a while ago now, so I don't think he has the shine. Matthews, as he tried to pick up velocity, has also picked up arm trouble. So it's basically whether or not he can succeed in the low 90s with very good command. I think a pretty good slider. Big guy. It's been a trepidatious last few years when he looked like he was on the doorstep, even 2 years ago, of being a solid major league pitcher and a fun prospect.
Oh yeah, no, he was a good ball player.
Yeah. Next, we got the Rays.
Ooh, Rays. We get to have some fun with the Rays because they'll always do some chaos stuff. My guy, I wanted to talk about Brody Hopkins because I do think he might get to the majors at some point this year, and he was a part of the Randy Arozarena trade, kind of like the throw-in helium, and he's continued to go even crazier. But for me...
No, he was the headliner of that trade.
But he was the guy who had helium at the time. It was like he came out of nowhere. This was the year. He wasn't on the top 100 list yet.
But he was throwing 99 miles an hour with a wipeout slide.
Correct. I think there's some whatchamacallit, what's when you revisionist history about the headliner. I think there was a lot of guys in that trade where it was like, we hope that one of these become that piece at some point. But yeah, Brody Hopkins, big stuff. Xavier Isaac, though, that's the guy I'm looking at where big power, first base. I think he had some stuff going on with his brain recently, had a major brain surgery.
Something
and it's because he either got hit by a pitch or there was something going on up there. He was a guy who mashed in the minors, showed the ability to probably be a major league hitter at some point. I'm interested to see what he looks like this season.
I also want to shout out similarly, Trey Morgan has the best first base glove ever evaluated.
He's disgusting. He's like Keith Hernandez at first base.
It's actually shocking how good he is at first base, and he needs to be added to the 40-man this year. So I do wonder if there's a midseason trade of Yandy Diaz, and then you get Trey Morgan, who's been above average minor league hitter. Last year, AAA, right? He's a very big on base guy. He's good bat to ball guy. He's he looks like he's someone that's profiling as an above average major leaguer. It's just at the same time the Rays have a glut of first basemen. So I do wonder how they figure out that solution there. But I think he's a guy that I just see James Loney.
It's nice.
And again, I think it's fun to develop a guy like James Loney. Blake Sable's also had moments of intrigue, but it's kind of been a rocky road the last few years developmentally. And some more of these pitchers. Luis Guerrero, Cam Boozer has wicked stuff from the left side. It's a very funny, very Raysy group.
Yes, but Brody Hopkins is definitely the most interesting pitcher by far.
Yep, now we got the Rangers.
Ooh, Texas Rangers. Who did I put for them? Oh, I know who I put. I put my boy Austin Gomber. Get him out of Coors. Give him a shot. That's all I want. I want to see Austin Gomber outside of Coors spinning. I just want to see him spin all day. That's it.
That's it? All you want to see him is spin?
Just spin. Give me some spin, Austin Gomber. Become junk, and stumble into a 4.80 ERA for your career.
They might need that in the back of that rotation. I think I'm trying to talk myself back into Kumar Rocker, which is a February tradition as we're starting to draft fantasy baseball. But Aaron Zavala, he had moments in the minor leagues where he looked like he was just kind of guaranteed going to be. It'd be a weak side platoon guy, but a decent bat. He's been horrible
really bad
for a couple teams now in the major leagues. But maybe the Rangers just really need some hitters to snap back. It's a very uninspiring NRI list, especially with the news that Sebastian Walcott will miss the season. Another team who it seems like their organizational process wasn't very good over the last few years, and now they're kind of paying the price for it.
They won the World Series, and then they were like, Oh, like we don't just win again? What do you mean we have to keep trying to get better?
Yeah, I don't know what the future holds for this Rangers club.
Yeah, not sure either. All right, I only have a few teams left here.
Yeah, Blue Jays and Nationals.
All right, Blue Jays, Nationals. I think their list was insane. Blue Jays, looking at their non-roster invites. Oh yes, again, just looking at it, a former old top prospect, Eloy Jimenez. That's the one I have circled. Can he ever be a good hitter again? Remember, like ever since the White Sox acted like he died and they hung up his jersey in the dugout and like did flowers and stuff. Everything's been gone. He's been horrible. Eloy Jimenez, they need maybe a little more pop. They could be that. I mean, he can't really play the outfield, but now that Santander's not there, maybe he's your backup DH. Let me see some Eloy Jimenez love.
I like that, especially with the Blue Jays have gotten out of hitting development in the last few years. David Popkins, the legend. I love Gage Standifer. Standifer is someone, as the Blue Jays' major league pitching depth has eroded, he has a real shot. It's just a righty with a really nice fastball slider mix and a changeup that seems like he's passable. Also, went to Westfield High School.
What?
Not our Westfield, Westfield High School. I don't know where. I don't know how.
I was like, Gage Standifer went to our high school? How did I not know this?
Go figure out the state it's in because he went to one of them.
Indiana. I know there's a Westfield, Indiana.
Last year, he had a 36% strikeout rate across all levels, which is the highest of any qualified minor leaguer.
Gage
he just doesn't really find the zone a lot. I think a lot of it is dancing around lefties, trying to go backdoor. Is he someone that there probably is another adjustment he has to make to be a major leaguer, but it's a really nice fastball slider. And that slider is a death ball, so it's very platoon neutral, shoots right down on the righties and the lefties. But again, still kind of waiting for a changeup to be the last option for him.
He will be one of 3 Major League Baseball alumni to play at Westfield High School in Westfield, Indiana. The other 2, one of them is a former Met, James, and it was a big deal that he was from the Midwest. Can you remember who it was?
A big deal. He was from the Midwest.
It feels like a guy that you would have loved, like because of the Midwest thing. He wasn't a good player.
Was the 2000s?
It was 2000s. He had a lot of hype and never hit.
John Maine?
No, a lot of hype never hit. Like physically never hit.
Oh, literally never hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me who.
Kevin Plawecki.
Oh, that makes sense.
Plawecki and Ryan Pepio.
Wow, that's a good list.
Westfield. That's a loaded high school of talent right there. So shout out Westfield, Indiana.
RJ Schreck is also just a little muskrat. He's like he's going to be just an annoying ass outfielder for them. He'll be fun. And Arjun Namala has developed kind of nicely.
Yes,
it was definitely a long winding road to get him. Like he's fun. You like Charles McAdoo, right?
I like Charles McAdoo. I don't have any of the hard numbers. I was trying to find some like exit velos off of him, but he's hit pretty much all the time. And he came over in a trade from the Pirates organization. So the Blue Jays clearly identified him as someone that they like. Also, they have the Mets manager possibly playing the infield, Carlos Mendoza.
That's a fun one.
Last question for you about the Blue Jays. Who was the prospect that they were freaking out about this offseason that was like also a rapper?
Oh, it was TJ something.
TJ Shrek?
Yeah, he's from O Block. TJ Shrek.
TJ Shrek or Shrek?
Shrek, yeah, boys with every single famous rapper ever. Like,
okay, that's what I
used like Lil Wayne. Like I think he's actually like low-key Chief Keef's boy. Like he's yeah, that was a fun meme for like a month.
Last team, Washington Nationals. Way too few non-roster invites for a roster that's as horrible as it is. Harlan Susana throws 103, has maybe the nastiest slider that we've seen in a long time. Again, doesn't know where it's going. Throwing strikes it's 50-50 when he lets go of the ball, if it's a ball or a strike. It doesn't really know where it's going, but man, this stuff is so sick. And he was casually like the extra piece in the Juan Soto trade.
Yeah, he was like the last piece in that trade, funny enough. I think Travis Sakura is one of the more underrated pitching prospects in the league. They gave him an overslot contract 2023 out of high school, throws gas with a slider and a splitter. Last year in high A he was 21 last year, I believe.
He
21
missed time last year too.
Yeah, 21 years old in high A, the 44% strikeout rate in 30 innings. If he can just stay healthy, he can dominate Double-A this year. You'll see him as like a top 50 prospect.
I'm going to make one bold prediction. Sergio Alcantara will hit a home run against the Mets this year. If the Mets play the Nationals and Sergio Alcantara's in the lineup, live bet home run, he's going to hit one.
Also, shout out Orelvis Martinez and Warming Bernabel. We're going to see some of those guys get major league at-bats this year for the Nationals as well.
Yohandy Morales also should be their first baseman going into opening day. I know he's a third base guy for Miami, but I think first base is a spot where you just let him just take some war hacks and play first. He's a really good hitter. The power stuff's nice.
I was hoping they still had Stone Garrett lying around. I'd love to see one more shot for Stone Garrett.
To talk about a peak athlete, that guy was built like a brick shit house.
NFL teams should be considering signing him if they can get their hands on him.
And that is a good hour on non-roster invites, our favorite from every team in Major League Baseball. Make sure you're subscribed to the Windup. This is the kind of chaos content you're going to get every once in a while from us. Drop us in the comment section who your favorite NRI is from your team. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
And I'm Draft Nick Mark. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace out.